Hi, Uli here. In this video, I'd like to explain how I collapse and expand HTML block elements. Basically, it's quite easy, and I made some tweaks to follow my motto, do less, get more. In the description, you can find all the links I'm showing or mention in this video, and as well the code on my GitHub page. I have prepared a Webpack 5 with Sass Starter on GitHub, and I downloaded it here, clicking on code and then download zip. I opened two instances of the File Explorer. On the left side, my download, and on the right side, my project directory. The default settings for Windows is when I double click in here, I can open this. So then I will select everything and move it on the right side. And then I click right here to open with WebStorm. I have a video where I explain how to do it. I will link it to this video. So now WebStorm is asking me to install the packages and I say yes, run that all. So after the success installation, I close the window with Shift Escape and then closing this one and open my package.json. And here I change the name to my project directory with collapse -expands -html -block -element. And change the author to my name, Uli. And then off screen, I will update the README file as I prepared something for this video here. So this here is the new README file and I will explain it later. First, let's add some content to the index.html. And to open this one, I hit twice the Shift key. So this is for search everywhere. And here I type index and then open this index.html. With the help of Emmet, what is already set up for use in WebStorm, we can just type an exclamation mark and then hit the tab key, and we create an HTML5 boilerplate. In WebStorm, we can expand the abbreviation with the tab key. You can change that in the settings of WebStorm. So to open the settings, we hit Ctrl, Alt and S. And then here in the search, I type Emmet. And here the first one is the expand abbreviation. And here we can choose space, tab, enter and custom. I would leave it at tab. Cancel this one. On the website emmet.io, you can find more about Emmet and his features. This would be here, and on the docs with cheat sheet, you can see what everything you can do with Emmet. So with the back in WebStorm and with the tab key, I can move to all the highlighted section and then changing the title. And here I write collapse and expand HTML block element. And as I want to use this title as well for the H1 headline, I hit Ctrl W twice and then Ctrl C for copy and then enter, and now I am in the body tag. Here I will add an H1, and with Emmet you can do this with H1 and then tab and then Ctrl V, and then with the end key we go all the way to the end and hit enter. And here now H2 and then open curly braces with CSS and JavaScript, closing curly braces and tab again. And now we have our H2 tag. Now I need to display an icon, and it's common to use an I tag. And with I dot, and then I choose the CSS class COLL-EXP-ICO for icon, and then tab, and then all the way to the end. And for the HTML block element, where I can add my content, I choose a div tag. To add a div with Emmet, I can type a period to add the CSS class or a hashtag for an ID. So I just can type .coll-exp-cnt and then tab. And now I open this with an enter. The CSS class names I choose should be easy to remember and should make sense for you and other developers. For example, CNT is an abbreviation for the content property we can use with Emmet. For the placeholder text, I add Latin, as it's common way to do. And with the help of Emmet, I type P angle bracket and then lorem and tab. After this div, I will add another block of content with h2 and then curly braces, other content, closing curly braces, and then tab. And for the icon again, i.collexpico and tab, and then the end key. And for the div again, .coll-exp-cnt, and then open this with return. And here I add another lorem ipsum text, but this time a bit more with p angle bracket lorem and then 100 and tab. To get more information, visit the website ipsum.com, and here is the website where you can choose as well generate here text with paragraphs, words, and so on. So back to WebStorm. So let's run the project so far. With the Alt and the arrow key, we can move back to the package.json. And here now I move to the dev script where my cursor is in here. And then with Shift, Control, and F10, we can run that. And here you can see we run it on localhost 3000. And when you click on this link, you can start your browser. And here is our page without any styling. So back to WebStorm, and then we closing this one here. And now let's add some styling. As I'm using Sass to organize my styles, I use folders and files. I tested over the years different methods, and the best way for me to start with 2 basic folders and entry file of main.scss. So here on the left side, where's my app, and then my assets. Here I have my SCSS, and I got already my base, where I have this one here. And now I add another one with Alt Insert and then D for directories. I type modules. And here I will add later my styles for collapse and expand. And here I have my basic.scss with nothing in there, only the basic styles. And the underscore at the beginning of the file is to symbolize that this is a partial and will be imported. If I add styles, what either fits in base or in the modules folder, I just add a new folder. In the basic.scss, I add a body tag. So the body and curly braces. And here I add only some basic styles. For a center style, I need a max width of 960. And with Emmet, I can do this with MAW960 and then tap enter. If we use pixel, then we don't have to add the unit, as Emmet will take care of it. And a margin of auto with M:A. And at a line height of 1.4, we have to type LH and then tap, and then the line height of 1.4, and the line height don't need any unit. So that's for my basic style. Now we add the styles for the collapse content, and with Alt Home, I can move to the navigation bar here on the top, and then move to the modules folder, and here with Alt Insert, and then I hit S for styles, and here I type the name underscore collapse - expand. And then I choose my extension, what is SCSS, and then hit enter. And WebStorm take care of the rest. Before we forget, we have to import it to the main.scss. So with double shift, we open the searching for the main and adding here the modules, and with add import, and then go to the modules / and here we have the collapse expand. And as you can see, Sass knows already that this will be a partial, and don't use the underscore here. And we can say here no to the styles from WebStorm. Okay, we can close this as we don't need it here anymore. And then here in the collapse, I will add a comment in the same way I did it here for the basic styles. And the multi-line comment you can add with Shift, Control, and /. And here I like to add an asterisk and say collapse and expand styles. So let's open the index.html again. And here, what do we need is we have to grab all the icons here. And as you can see, this part here is everywhere the same here for my icon and as well for my div tag. And I'm only adding then the -ICO and -GNT is different. So back to the styling. So what that means, I can use the nesting of Sass, and I start doing this with the comment. And here I add the collapse, expand, base, CSS class. And this is the .coll-exp and then curly braces. So now I can start my nesting with an ampersand, and what that means is we don't have to write the parent CSS class, what would be the COLL-EXP, as it will be added from SAS, and the ampersand is the placeholder for that. So what I can do is first I add the hidden icon, as this will be my default state. So the hidden icon, and I do that with ampersand and then a hyphen and ICO and curly braces. And here we need as the base only one property to let the cursor act like a button or a link. So, and we do that with the cursor property with CUR and colon and P for a pointer and then tab. I will add my icon to a CSS content property, and for that I need an icon on the website toptile.com. I picked an icon what I think would be working, and I will copy the CSS code to the clipboard. What is this here? And here you can see how to add it in an HTML, and here for the span, and this is the content element we will use. So I go here, highlighting this one, and then with Ctrl+C, I put it in the clipboard. And by the way, you can find a lot of different icons here by clicking here on the different links. And as well, I use this website in another video of mine. This is the Webpack 5 with SAS, where I use this one here to get my git ignore file. So let's closing this one. And then back to WebStorm. So what I basically want to do, I have to add a pseudo element after the I tag. So, and I grab the I tag with this class here, and then I will add it after, because first I want to loading it to the right, and second I want to move it a bit up so that it looks like it stays here in the headline. So back to the styling, what I have to do. Here I will use an ampersand and double colon, and then after curly braces. And here I use my some base style. First the floating to the right with FL:R, and then tab. Enter, and then a margin of -48 pixel to pull the icon to the headline with MT for margin top, -48, and then tab, and then return. So this is basically my base style. What will be the same, because later I will use SVG and a PNG icon. So next thing what we have to do, we have to add the content property with CNT and then tab, and then with Ctrl+V, we pasting the code. So the next thing what I want to do is I want to add a font size with FZ and then 32 tab, and then as it is an I tag, what is the style is italic, we have to normalize it with FS for font style and then N what is normal. So let's check the website how it looks, and as we can see it's in one direction, and we got the pointer here already. So back to WebStorm, what we have to do, we have to rotate the icon, and I added here with TRF:RZ and then tab, and the degree is 90 DEG. So let's see that again, and now it's pointing to the top. And to pointing it down, what we have to do is here, so in the ICO, not in the after. What I want to do here is to add an icon to the show content. We have to add a pseudo element, but only when there is a CSS class show present. So we do that with the ampersand dot show and then double colon after curly braces, and here we rotate with TRF:RZ and then tab, and this one is 270 degree. So how do I know I have to rotate the z-axis of the icon? So in the readme data, I prepared some stuff here like the links and as well some graphics about the geometry of the chevron icon in space. And here you can see it is now on the z-axis and with 0 degree, and it would be then turned up with 90 degree and as well turned down with 270 degree. As you have to go out from here, then 90 degree, this would be then 180 and then 270. And if you're rotating it here on the y-axis, what we don't need, it would be rotating like this way, and it would be rotating on the x-axis like this way. Okay, so to get everything running, we need a bit of JavaScript. Here I have a similar approach like the style. I have my entry, what is app.js, and I put basically all the other files in the modules folder. So here on the left side, we can close the SAS and open this one. So we don't have the module folder. Let's edit with Alt and Insert. and then D for directory and modules. And in here I will create another file with alt insert and then J for JavaScript, and I call my file collapse expand. So we will use JavaScript classes and exporting it as a default. And as we're using Webpack with Babel.js, we can use modern JavaScript and it will be transformed to use in older browsers. And that's the reason why I choose an object-oriented programming versus a procedural programming approach. So let's add a comment first with Shift, Control and slash. We can add a multi-line comment, and here I collapse or expand the content of an HTML block element by clicking on an icon. So first we have to add the class, and we will export it as default. So with export default class and then the name collapse expand and curly braces. And here I will use a private property, what is basically a variable in the class, to get all the CSS classes of collapse expand icon in the HTML DOM with the name. So we add it here. So this is a private property. And what we're doing, we're using the CSS class COLL-EXP-ICO, and we add the private property with the hashtag and then the name, what is a CSS class, and then COLL-EXP and then ICO with every word capitalized. And as we can't use the hyphen in JavaScript as is an illegal character for a variable name, so we have to do like this one, what is as well a common way to do. And then equal to the document, and now we use the query selector all, and here we add the class. So and now we have to add a constructor, and a constructor runs when the class was called. So here we add the comment run when class was called, and here we add the constructor. So first what we have to do is we have to add an onload. Basically when I want to do something when the page was completely loaded, and we do that with a task when the page is loaded. And here we use the onload handler from the window object. So window.onload, and we add it to arrow function with equal to braces and then an equal and angle bracket and curly braces. So what we have to do here is we have to iterate through all the icons, iterate to the COLL-EXP-ICO CSS class. And we do that first to use the keyword this as we want to get the private property, and then we concat the for each loop. And here in another braces we say element, comma, and I for the index, and using again an arrow function here, and then curly braces. So first we have to get the next element, what is coming after the icon, what is for us the div tag with the content, and we add it to a constant. And then I use the variable name block element after icon, what is equal to this, and again this icon, and this time we need a square bracket and the I for the index, and then we're asking for the next element sibling. So basically what it does, we grabbing this icon with JavaScript, and then we go to the next element sibling, what would be this one here. So and then we don't have to basically use the class here, but later I want to add some animation, so that's why I need the class name here. So now we need an if-else statement. So and here we add a comment. So what we do for the if, and here I'm using the call exp ICO has no CSS class of show at the hidden CSS class, and the style max height to 0, else at scroll height to the elements. So how we do that? So with if e, we have an abbreviation of an if-else statement. And here I want to ask the element, the class list, if it contains show and we actually said we don't want to show it. So what we have to do, we add at the begin an exclamation mark. What is we want to do the opposite. And here in the if block, what we want to do is to the block elements icon, we want to add a class list and add the class name hidden. And what else we want to do is the block element, the style of max height equal to 0. So now in the else, again with the block element, we add the style of not max height, this time is the max height. And here we're using the string literal with backtick and $, curly braces, and here the block element icon, and we checking for the scroll height, and on the end we add the pixel here. And it looks like that we move the curly braces here. So we have like this one. And as well, I missed here my backtick. So now looking good. So the next thing what we need is a method, and we add it after the constructor. So this should be the constructor, where the is off here. This one should be this one here. And with Shift Tab, you can move those braces. And then when we close this one, we missing one of the closing curly braces here. Okay, so here, now after the constructor, we add a private method. And here we want to collapse or expand the content by clicking on the icon, or expand the content by clicking on the icon. So let me copy this one here as I need it later. So add then the name, call exp, and then C and T as we want to collapse or expand the content. And here we need a parameter, what is the CSS class, and some curly braces. And now we can call the method in the constructor, so not in the window on load. So we have to add it here to the constructor, and I will add the comment here, and this is the call method, and then the name of the method, and then this dot call the method, and the parameter I want to give is the icon. Okay, back to the method. So in here, what I have to do, I have to iterate through the CSS class. Iterate through the CSS class, and I do that with the parameter of the CSS class, and then dot and for each. And here I need only the index, but the element comes first, so I need add braces, and then I add an underscore, as I won't say I don't use this element, only I use the index, and then after this I add a arrow function equal and angle brackets, and then curly braces. So in here I have to add an event listener to each of the icons. So, and I do that with the CSS class, and then with square brackets the index, and here I add an event listener, and here I need to click event, and this time I will add a normal function because I don't want to handling with some binding, as I need only the this keyword working for this elements or with this index. So what I do here now, add my curly braces, and now I have to toggle the show CSS class of the icon. So toggle show CSS class of the icon, and I do that with this keyword. And would we use an arrow function, this keyword would not work here. So the class list, and here I toggle the show one, and then I have to get the CSS element of the next sibling, what we did before. So the get the CSS class of the next sibling element, And we do that with the const, and then I choose the same name, block element after icon is equal to, and then this dot next element sibling. And now I will use this block element after the icon to toggle the hidden class. So here I toggle the hidden CSS class. And I write here CSS class as a class could be as well JavaScript to make it 100% clear. So that's quite easy again. We're using the block element and then the class list and the toggle function, and here is hidden. And to get to the end of the line, I'm just using the end key on my keyboard. So now we need again an if-else statement, but this time I'm not using an if-else, but I'm writing it like in this way in my comments. What I use is a ternary operator, what makes my life easy here. So first we have to do for the if, and here CSS class show is set at the style of scroll height to max height, else max height equals to 0. So, and we do that with the block element, and then the style dot max height is equal to, and this dot class list dot contains, and here show. And now we have to add a question mark. And let me move here to the right side so that we get it more in order. And now we have to add another string literal with backticks and then a $sign and curly braces. And here is the block element, the scroll height in pixel. And now a colon, and I move again here. And this is 0. So what that means is basically here this is my condition, and then it's coming when the condition is true, we adding this one. If not, we adding this one. So this is my if else in a ternary operator. So, and that should be all. So let's see the browser, is everything working here. So when I click on the icon, nothing happens. So let's inspect the code. So here's nothing happen. Let's check the console. We don't get any error here. And then my source. Okay. I think we forget something. So if we go back to WebStorm and open the app.css, we did not add the class to our app.js. So let's fix that. So here I like to add a comment with my own modules. Here I import with empf. So I import from, and here is the modules and expand collab. And then with Control W twice, I copy this one and hit Control C for copying it, and here Control V, and then all the way to the end. And now I implement the collapse expand class. I just calling it with the new keyword. So now if you go to our browser, checking the elements here, and now it's working. And as you can see, my content will be pulled to my other content, what is not nice, and we can fix that quite easy. Back to WebStorm and going here to our collapse. So what we have to do after the icon here, let's collapse this one. This is the content style. And here again we need an ampersand -cnt. And here we have to add only the overflow hidden with OV:H and then tab. And then we go back to the browser, and now we don't see any content. And now we can open it. Okay. So what would be nice to having some animation here? Let's add that now back to WebStorm. To add an animation, we have to add the transition to the basic style, and we have to add the property of time and the timing function. So let's do it here to the icon. So that's my base style here. And we do that with TRS, and the property we want to use is transform. And the time would be 0.8 seconds. And we use the timing function isOut. So let's try this one. Okay. I'm not happy the animation rotates. I'm not happy how the animation rotates. So let's see how we can fix that. So back to WebStorm. So let's go back to our graphics. And so what we see already here, we have to rotating it 90 degrees up. And now what we want to do is actually pointing this one down. And we can do that, as you can see here. This is 0 degree, 45 degree, and then 90 degree. You see here a line. In real you don't see anything, but because it's like a 2D, what we rotating in a 3D space. And then 135 and 180 would be pointing down. So let's implement this by going here to the rotation, and we can add actually more than one to the transformation. So with the R, the X, the hidden would be 0 and the Z would be 90. And here we have to keep the 90 for the Z, but rotating it to the X to 180 degree. So let's try that one. So that's looking good here for the icon, but I don't like how it looks like for my content. So back to WebStorm, and what I have to do is add a transition to my content, and here TRS, and then the property will be the max height, and my time the same 0.8 and seconds, and isOut. So let's try this one. And this looks way better than before. And if you open the developer toolbars again, then we can see that we will add the height here, and as well the classes, what we set up in JavaScript. So back to WebStorm. By the way, the rotation here, the order matters. You can try out if you change the X to after the Z and see what happened then. Or maybe you make the mistake from the beginning and wondering why it's not really working how I show here. So that is because the rotation X and Z matters from the order. Anyway, now I want to add an Svg graphic. And in my Svg to icon fonts, I showed you a Svg repo. This is this website here, and I choose this icon here, and I modified it a bit with Adobe Illustrator. So back to WebStorm. First we have to uncomment the entity here, and I will add a comment. And then with Control/ we can uncomment this one. And here I will add the Svg. And first thing what I have to do is add the content with CNT. And this time I leave it empty with just the quotes. Next thing, I have to add the Svg to a background with BGI, what gives me the background image. And now I have to iterate to my file. So what it means is actually I'm here in my modules. I'm going up. But this is not how it looks like on when I'm building my project. What it is, we don't have an SCSS, we have only a CSS. So this would be my CSS, and there will be only one file in there. So you have to imagine we going out from the main.scss. Okay, don't see the directories here, they are here. So for my main SCSS, I have to go one up, and I do that with double dot and then a slash. And now I will be in my assets, and now I have to go to the image. EMG, and then another slash, what will be then my image here. And I open this here. I have here two icons, and first I want to get the SVG file with selecting it, and with Control copy, I'm copying it to the clipboard, and then add it here. So we still get an error here. this is because WebStorm don't know what to do with my file and cannot really see what I'm doing here. So usually what I do, I click with Alt Enter, and then I say disable inspection for the file. So next thing we have to do in order to display the icon, we need the background size property, and we can add that with BG_SZ and then colon and CV for the cover, and then tab. And the next one we need a width and a height, so W 32 and H 10. And as you know, we don't need any units if we use pixel. And the next thing what we have to do is we have to rotate the icon, this time on the x-axis only. So let me duplicate this one. And here I say T and unselect, uncommon it. And here's my SVG. And my first state is here 0, so I don't have to add anything. And here we need 180. And removing the Z stuff. So let's try out, go back to the browser. And here is my SVG icon. And if we inspect this one, we can see here somewhere that we have our SVG icon. And here you can see it goes to the assets, image, and then to my chevron here. So, and we have to add the dimension of this icon as it's a vector icon. So it's not really working without this. Okay, back to WebStorm. Now let's add the PNG file. So we get up here and uncommon everything with Ctrl/. And add the comment with for PNG. And here we need only the content property. So what's quite easy, because I output my PNG file with Adobe Illustrator already in the right size I need for this project. And basically you should do that all the way if you're using pixel graphics. So here what we have to do is the CNT content, and we leave that empty. And here we add the URL tag. And now again, move him up and then going to the image, and now we have to add the chevron PNG. So, and basically that's it for a PNG. So if you go back to the browser, so we seeing are working fine. And here we can see that we got our PNG, and we got the rendered size is 32 × 10. So back to WebStorm. And as my rotation is working for SVG and PNG, I add another comment here, PNG. So that's all for me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.